Hello Rumble and hello YouTube. Welcome to Old Guy Observations. Hey, I'm actually going to do a review here of my 2022 Chevy 2500 HD diesel. And I think the difference with this review is just that there's lots and lots of YouTube videos on different features and benefits and how everything works inside the vehicle. And the fact of the matter is that, you know, I just couldn't find some of the information that I'm going to present today. And also I just wanted to, you know, point out some of the things that are happening with 10,000 miles on the vehicle. So I think pretty much everything I'm going to talk about today, I have not seen on YouTube, and I was obsessed over finding out information about this vehicle before it was delivered to me. So that is the plan today, and let's just jump right into it. Okay, so just a little bit of background as we get started here. I'm going to try to, I think the best way I can do this is to break down the observations of this vehicle into three buckets. Basically things that are really good and were unexpected. Then the next bucket would be just informational video or information in general. So kind of a neutral bucket. And then the last bucket, of course, is the problems with the vehicle. Now, that being said, I really love this truck, and we are just, for a little bit of background, we're halfway between Denver and Colorado Springs. The truck lives at 7,600 feet, so we're up here pretty high. And some other things, I actually came into this truck from a Ford Fusion Sport. This is, if you're not familiar, and you're probably not, this was a sedan. It's a twin turbo V6 that I actually put a tune in, and so it was making about 365 horsepower. So going from that vehicle to this vehicle is a big transition. Okay, so with that being said, I thought I'd just start with the things that you know, that you really don't hear very much. But first things first, this vehicle is very, very quiet. I do have the Z71 package on it, which gives you the off-road tires. And, you know, there's some people talking about how the off-road tires can be, you know, louder and all that. I've just found that the vehicle's very quiet. I had a hard time in that Ford Fusion using the onboard microphone. I always hooked up my AirPods and talked through the phone that way. Honestly, with this one, I can do it fine. I tend to not do it very often just because I'm in the habit of doing it the other way, but I always, whenever I connect through the microphone system in the car, I always ask the person I'm talking to if they can hear me fine, and most of the time they comment that I can't even tell you're driving. So that's a real good, you know, reflection on the vehicle itself. So very, very happy with the quietness of this vehicle, which is something I really didn't expect, especially with the diesel engine. Also, better than expected mileage in this thing. My wife has a 2019 Ram Limited with the e-torque and the Hemi, and honestly, we're really lucky to get 16 miles to the gallon. And with this truck, over the 10,000 miles, I'm north of 19 miles to the gallon in this thing, which is really unexpected. I've had a tank as high as 20.5 miles to the gallon. And as you may know from watching a lot of these YouTube videos, the onboard MPG tracker in these Chevys is very, very accurate. Most of the other manufacturers, at least from what I've seen on YouTube, is that they're pretty optimistic, but this one seems to be right on, or possibly even just a little bit pessimistic. So very happy with that. Yeah, you know, the other thing about these cubbies, I'm sure you've seen the cubbies in the back seats. These are the hinged doors in the back seat, the vertical backrest. I'll show a picture of those. The one thing about them that, you know, nobody really talks about is the door opens, but the cavity extends either side of the hinge and the closure. So it's significantly larger than I ever thought. You know, I didn't think they were going to be very valuable, but you really can put a lot of stuff back there that you don't want anybody to see. So just another one of those features that, you know, you don't really get to see. And of course, I bought this truck with never actually being inside of one because of our wonderful chip shortage that's going on. So that's one thing. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, you know, this vehicle, as most of these GM vehicles, they have the, you know, lane departure warning. My wife has the, again, that Ram truck, and it has the option of both beeping as well as the auto correcting. This vehicle just has the seat vibrators, and I really find that to be much less obtrusive. It doesn't really, you know, jump in and make a, you know, distract you from the actual driving. So I find that to be very, very good. I'm very happy with that. I didn't think that was going to be a big deal, but just the seat vibration is a very nice feature for that. Let's see. Oh, you know, I don't know. This is my first 2500. We've had a pickup. We had a previous generation Ram, a 2014, and then my wife got this 2019. But this vehicle has these controversial mirrors. And I'm, you know, I can't really say I'm a truck guy, but I can tell you these mirrors, I don't know what you would want that would be any different than these. They are excellent and really, really allow excellent rear view. And then the lower half has the angle that, of course, you can basically back into without any trouble getting into parking spots and getting it exactly where I want to get it. So the mirrors have been just really I don't know what you would do differently that would improve on those. I guess some people just don't like the look of them, but, you know, to each your own. I'm not really, it's just not that big of a deal in my life. So they work awesome, and I'm very happy with them, especially since this vehicle is very large. It's significantly larger than my wife's Ram pickup, and you know, I refer to my wife's Ram pickup now as the sports car. So it's just this is a big vehicle. Those mirrors really help shrink the vehicle. So just another thing. I'll show this feature as well. But this auto closing tailgate, the bump feature, you've probably seen this again on YouTube, but I just think in the real world it has been really an excellent feature. And this is where when the tailgate's down and you put your knee up against the tailgate, it auto raises itself. So I just find myself many times having my arms full, and I didn't think this would be a big deal, but man, this is a really nice feature to get your tailgate closed. So yeah, and I think here's one that I'm not sure where to put this one into the bucket. I'm not sure if it's a neutral issue or just something that you know, it's just been a nice thing to happen. But the bottom line is, as I said, I've got about 10,500 miles on this vehicle now, and I think I needed to fill the DEF tank, or I got the DEF tank to about a third at 2,000 miles. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to have all kinds of time to fill this DEF tank, meaning that the more miles I drive it, the more often I'm going to have to fill it. And so I did top it off. I used a local truck stop. That worked fine. You do have to prepay, which, you know, you do learn these things. So I went through the big rig truck stop, pissed all the drivers off behind me, but eventually figured out that, hey, this DEF fluid, you have to go in and prepay with a credit card. Anyways, bottom line is I topped that off. And then the next tank, so I'm going to say maybe the next 4,000 miles of the vehicle, you know, I got to the same point, but in 4,000 miles, and now I've topped it off again. I'm at another 4,000 miles, and it's just barely moved off of the full. So it must be part of the break-in procedure. My driving style really hasn't changed. I didn't do a lot of city driving in the first 2,000 versus highway now, or any of those concerns. So anyways, the point is the DEF fluid, which turned out to be a bit of a pain in the ass to get filled, is, less of a big deal now that I've got some more miles on it. I hope that continues. So other things that are just neutral information, meaning just information sharing for you. So I have a silver LTZ, pretty well loaded. Most of the packages are on it. I did not, just my personal preference, I did not want the black interior, not because we're hot here, just because I didn't want the black interior. So I went with this Gideon color. What the heck is Gideon? I mean, when you Google that color, it doesn't even come up. What it comes up as is as a GM interior color. So I will tell you that I'll show this as well, but the Gideon is a really, really dark brown. It's B- is maybe the best way I can say that. Not a great color, but it's fine. I still think I would choose it over the black, just because I really like the contrasting gray leather seats that come with this. So it's brown plastic, lots of plastic, and the gray leather is very, very nice. I really like the gray leather. So another neutral item here, the seats in this vehicle, they're very firm. Not a problem. Just again, when you contrast this to my wife's Ram Limited, the Ram has very, very much softer seats. These are very firm. I like it. I've grown used to it. It's just one of those things that's different. And I think that's it for really the neutral. And again, I just, before I jump into the problems with this truck, I don't want to have anybody think that I don't like this vehicle. It's a very good vehicle. I have to say, it's just, man, GM, you just got it, 98% to the finish line, and there's just so many little things they could have done that would have made a big difference. So let's start with a couple of these negatives here. First of all, this truck, the sticker on it was 76,000. There were, and the next one up, the High Country, I could have gotten the High Country, but I actually put a couple more features and packages in this LTZ. And the bottom line is there is not adaptive cruise control available in a 2500 GM, at least in 2022. I say all this because it's one of those things that when we get into, or I can possibly show in the information center here, it has the data. It shows you your tracking distance. It actually tells you that within seconds, like 2.1 second following distance, 1.3 seconds. So it's got all the data. It just won't allow, it just doesn't have the feature of adaptive cruise control. And it's interesting because some people, I saw a bunch of information on YouTube on this where people are claiming it does have adaptive cruise control. It does not have adaptive cruise control, and it's just one of those things where I think people might even be confused about it. Honestly, here in Colorado, our speeds on the highway are so high. We're 80, 85 without even worrying. And the fact of the matter is, when you use adaptive cruise control, which again, my wife's truck has, the following distance is such that at 80 miles an hour, the truck keeps you back from the vehicle in front of you far enough, just far enough to where everybody cuts you off. It's that following distance where, I can get in there. And so what happens is people cut you off, and then of course the truck brakes hard to increase that following distance. And then it happens again, rinse and repeat. So, yeah, it's just one of those things that I probably don't even miss it. It's very nice. Adaptive cruise control is very nice in traffic, where stop and go, meaning stop and go traffic, where it'll take you down to zero, the vehicle in front of you moves, and your truck or vehicle starts to move. My Ford Fusion had that, which is really where I miss it, is in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Okay, there's no armrest, or there's no tray in the armrest here. So when you open the armrest, it's this very large cavity that, if you don't have some kind of organization in there, it just turns out to be, just a bunch of crap thrown in there. So I did buy something on Amazon. It was $20. It works really great. I'm very happy with it. It's $20 from China, and I'm sure that the cost on the thing was probably about $1. So I will put a link in the YouTube and Rumble video here, and you can look at it. But I mean, come on, GM. I mean, $1 is what this thing cost. So it's just one of those further frustrating things here. Okay. This is probably the biggest issue that I have with this vehicle is that, again, $76,000, and it does not have speed sensitive wipers. So that, to me, I mean, that is number one, the biggest issue for me. I hate just having to constantly adjust the speed of the wipers up and down. $76,000. The 1500s have it. I had a 2004 Passat wagon with the W8, if anybody knows what that is. And yeah, the 2004 Passat had speed sensitive wipers. So again, one of those issues where, I mean, GM probably made $35,000 on this vehicle, and it's just, man, get it across the finish line. You know, they could really make a huge difference. Oh, another big one. I mean, what could this cost GM? So in the passenger's footwell, I'm sure you guys have all seen those tabs that you snap your floor mat onto, and it stops the floor mat from moving. Well, they have it on the driver's side. They do not have those tabs in the footwell of the passenger side. So it's a tall vehicle. Somebody gets in, steps on the mat, it moves, gets out, they move it further. I'm constantly adjusting the floor mat in the footwell. And really, what could that plastic tab cost? It's just, man, GM, if you put another $100 of cost into this vehicle, it would just make such a difference. Yeah, I'll show this too. It's just another little, there's a bunch of programming issues, software things that I think, and here it is. I'll show a video of this or a clip of this, but when you have XM radio, Sirius XM on the main screen, it shows the artist name, but it doesn't show the song name. And it's just one of those things. There's plenty of room on the screen to add that line, but they just don't display that information. So you have to scroll through your finger tabs here on the steering wheel to get to that information. So again, just another little software problem. I'm sure it could be quickly updated. I'm sure it will not be updated. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is probably to save the battery, but to turn on the 120 volt AC power outlet, you have to turn it on. There's a switch to turn those on, and I think that has to do so that somebody doesn't run the battery down maybe out of the truck bed without without knowledge of the driver. That's the only thing I can think of, because I'm not sure why that wouldn't be hot all the time, but inevitably when you need it, you have to come into the truck and turn it on. So yeah, the sunroof on this thing, I'll show it to you. You know, again, $76,000. It's, I really, I know everybody is, sunroofs are a love-hate kind of thing. I personally really like the sunroof. It just gives a much airier feel, and that to me is a big deal. So that's one of the things that, I'm disappointed in. I knew this going in, so this is one of those situations where I can't really complain about it. That's like moving next to an airport and then complaining about the airport noise, right? Or the runway noise. But I didn't, I knew this. I just wish they would have done the larger one. I also did see in the 2022 1500 mid-year or mid-cycle refresh. So they did the whole refresh of the dash and got rid of a bunch of the plastic that, these trucks are very plasticky. They did not address that sunroof in the 1500. So, yet I know the Tahoes and the Yukons and the Suburbans and all that, they have the full panoramic sunroof. So I'm not sure how that all works, but sunroof is not big at all. The LED lights on this thing. So I almost went with an LT, but the LTZ gave you the LED lights, and I could have gotten an LT with the upgraded light package, but there were just a couple of features that I needed to get, or that I wanted to get in the LTZ. And of course it came with the LED lights then. And, you know, I hate to sound like repetitive here, but the lights in these things are probably a B- at best. Not great lighting. My wife's, again, Ram 1500, much better road illumination with that truck. Here's another interesting thing with this. Every time you start the vehicle, you have to turn on the fog lights if you want them on. Further, the fog lights, or excuse me, the Autobrites, so the, you know, oncoming vehicle turns the brights on and off for you. If you turn the fog lights on, that feature is disabled, which again is just a software thing from GM that, you know, we all know that you can't run your brights and fog lights at the same time. So when you turn your fog lights, or when you turn your brights off, your fog lights come back on. Well, again, when you have your fog lights on, when you start the vehicle, the Autobrite feature will not work. And I've gone through the manual. I've spoken to a tech service guy. Again, guess what? He says software problem, and there may be an update at some point in the future. And I think we all know we're not going to hold our breath for that. So this truck has the heads-up display option on it. And here's something you'll never hear. The heads-up display is not visible with polarized sunglasses. So just be aware of that. I had a good pair of Ray-Bans that had polarized glasses. I had to buy another pair of non-polarized sunglasses. Here's another thing for you old guys out there. I have the video mirror. So what I did not realize, and I don't know where anybody tells you this, but that is basically a computer monitor, which of course makes sense, right? It's a camera and it's displaying the camera image. If you need reading glasses to look at a computer screen, you are gonna need reading glasses to see what's in your rear view mirror. So for me, that's a big deal, and I've gotten used to it. And from this distance from the mirror, it is relatively easy to see, but it's not sharp until I put those reading glasses on. So just something else to keep in mind. If you're dependent on reading glasses, I'm not sure that technology package is worth it. I'm not sure I'd do it again. It was quite a bit. I think $1,300. Don't hold me to that. And I'm not sure I'd do that again because of that. I did see somewhere else on the website, or on YouTube, I should say, that people talk about after you get a car wash, the hood scoop fills. Well, that's the real world. So as you're driving down the road, and the first time you hit your brakes after a car wash, the water's going to come spraying out of your hood scoop and up onto your truck. So if you're obsessive over keeping it clean, just know that the first time you come to a stoplight, you're going to need to re-dry that hood and windshield. So a couple other things. A horn in this, pretty wimpy. You know, 2,500, you would think that it might have some presence. Hopefully I don't have to blow it too often, but when you do hit that horn, you know, I would also say B-, maybe even C+ on the horn. Okay, another little issue. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but there is no footwell lighting in this vehicle. So you're in the garage at night, you drop something as you're getting out of the truck, it falls in the footwell. Good luck. There are no lights down there in the footwell. So, yeah, just very, very dark. Just, again, one of those little accounting, cost-cutting efforts that GM has done. Another annoying thing, I use CarPlay. I have an Apple iPhone, and pretty much boot up a CarPlay as soon as the vehicle starts. If you want to see your outside temperature, there is no way to see that other than to exit Apple CarPlay. So it's not in your main video or main section between the speedometer and tachometer. You have to go back into the main display and get out of CarPlay to find that. And there's tons of room across the top of this display just to put the temperature there, and they should have it there. Again, simple software, but probably not going to happen. Here's one. This is also a software issue. If you do remote start this vehicle, and then you get into the vehicle, and you have to hit that acknowledge that you remote started it and hit the auto start stop button to basically turn the vehicle into regular running mode, it will not play audio. You have to go into your audio settings and select the audio again. So even if you left this vehicle, turned it off with, again, Sirius XM playing or something like that, whatever source you were on, it will not reboot the music without going in and reselecting that. So all that being said, those are really my observations here after living with this vehicle for, about 6 months already, 10,000 miles. I put a lot of miles in my business on these vehicles. I'm very happy with the vehicle overall. It's just, these are some of the things that you might expect or might not see as you begin to live with this vehicle. So there you go. That's kind of the good, the bad, and kind of the neutral with this truck. I'm not really sure how all this works, but I guess I'm supposed to say, if you like this, please hit the like button, and if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be great as well. I'm planning on doing a bunch of these informational videos, kind of the real world kind of stuff, and I plan to just in the near term future, we've got a little Mahindra tractor. I plan to put some information up on that, and we live out here in the sticks, as I've said. We just got Starlink, which is the Elon Musk satellite internet service, and we're very happy with that. It's been a game changer, but not perfect by any means. So I'll share some of that information as well. Some other thoughts that, some other projects that I want to share as well. So hopefully you like this, and look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you.